Hi fans of high quality entertainment. Today, we are going to talk about the Beatles. So I have Amazon Prime Canada, and I was searching for something to watch, and I came across, and I've heard of these this film before, but I thought it was one of the, you see a lot of these movies on the Beatles, and you go to watch them and it doesn't even use their music, and it's not very well done. But I came across Composing Outside the Beatles, Lennon and McCartney. And it's really good overall. I was actually very impressed with them. It uses the Beatles music throughout, which kind of surprised me. Like I said, for some films, they can't get the rights to use the Beatles music, so they have music that sounds like the Beatles or whatever. And what really impressed me was they got Denny Laine. Denny Laine is in the film, being interviewed, and he gives some really interesting, he tells some interesting stories, as does Klaus Voormann. And Wing's original drummer, Denny Seiwell. And I used to think it was Sewell, and I was almost going to say Sewell, but I thought I better make sure that's the way you pronounce his name. So I clicked on an interview he was doing on YouTube, and the guy's introducing him as Sewell, and then Denny says it's Seiwell. He says it's Seiwell. So there you go. Other people can make mistakes with mispronouncing names. But there's two series, 1960. It's called Composing Outside the Beatles, Lennon and McCartney. So it's just about John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Outside of the Beatles, obviously. And so it's 1967 to 1972. And I've only watched... when I started it, I kind of went in the middle of that one and watched quite a bit of it, but I haven't watched the whole movie of that one. And then there's also 1973 to 1980, which I've started to watch too. So I've seen over half of the whole series, and each movie is over 2 hours long. The only negative thing I have to say about it is there's critics, of course, just like everybody's a critic, but these are professional critics, and especially early on, for the early solo years with Lennon and McCartney, they pretty much bash Paul McCartney, and even with Ram, they're putting down Ram. The one critic is saying something like there's no really good songs on it, and so I did a kind of a comedy thing, which you'll see at the end of this. The first time I was watching this, and I was hearing a couple of the critics putting down Paul McCartney and his early albums, I filmed some of it on my phone, and I'd had a bit of wine, but I'm kind of insulting the one critic, and but just understand it is kind of humor. He has a right to his opinion, as we all do, but it just kind of, it did peeve me off that, he was really putting down Paul McCartney's early work. And so you'll see that. I kind of insult his appearance, which I don't do that with people. But, I mean, he's never going to hear me insulting him, at least. But, like I said, blame the wine. But I highly recommend, if you can find it, I think there are, I don't know if the whole thing is on YouTube, but I think there are parts on YouTube if you want to do a search for it. And like I said, it's on Prime Canada, Amazon Prime Canada. I don't know if it would be in the States too, but I highly recommend it. It's very interesting, and for instance, I think it was Denny Lane that was talking about Red Rose Speedway and My Love, how it, became one of Paul's earliest big hits solo. I think it was his first big hit solo. And when Paul recorded it, he had no intention of releasing it as a single. It was someone else saying, "That's a hit." But he had no interest in it being, he didn't record it to be a hit single. And of course, it just became a huge hit single for him. But there's lots of little tidbits throughout. And I love, all the guys are great. These seem like genuine nice guys. Denny Lane, Claus Vorman, and Denny Sywell. They all seem genuine, nice, good people. So it's really interesting. So here's the little clip of me a few days ago. I wasn't drunk, by the way. I was just feeling a little tipsy and doing a little feedback on what one or two of the critics were saying about Paul McCartney. Enjoy and check out, what's it called? Composing Outside the Beatles. And like I said, I think you can get them on DVD. I've read, there's 3, but I've only seen the 2. I think it's just the 2. So, Composing Outside the Beatles, Lennon and McCartney. It's just about John and Paul. It's not about George and Ringo. 1967 to 1972, and then 1973 to 1980. Enjoy. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye. Nice kitty.
It's not a great McCartney song, and it's regrettable that it's not really.
You're an idiot.
And that's its problem, really. I don't think there's anything on that record that you could say was a great song.
You're an idiot. Backstreet of My Car is one of the greatest songs of all time.
But don't forget, this is the.
Oh, shut up. Go get your teeth fixed. Friggin' critics.
There's nothing that even approaches that. And you could ask, well, that doesn't necessarily matter.
Oh, shut up.
Arresting, challenging, radical.
Oh, critics. Blah, 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 blah.
What sort of adjective are you going to get to describe?
Oh, go back to listening to Nickelback, you turd. Hi, fans. I'm not done yet. This is the second critic that talks about Paul McCartney's Ram.
After side 2 of Abbey Road, people expected some great work.
It was a great work.
Sooner rather than later. And what they got, first of all, was a homemade album with a couple of good tracks on it, and some, dodgy instrumentals.
I'm going to swear.
And then they got a Ram album, which was sort of a bit on the crude side. Smile away, I can smell your feet and mine.
Yeah, it's called humor.
It's hardly golden slumbers, is it?
Obviously, you don't have a sense of humor.
The expectation was very, very high after the demise of the Beatles. And Paul is just being Paul. And
yeah, and we love Paul McCartney. Go away.
Actually don't like McCartney at all.